We're talking about business development and the ebb and flow of the business development process. We talked about it being entrepreneurial and how it requires freedom and creativity for an economic result. The goal is to use your ideas and your awareness and to use your ability to look at anything out there, deal with any organization out there, deal with any individual out there, and figure out how to turn that into an opportunity for your organization and how to make more money doing that in the process. So you might wonder how business development deals come together. What happens? How do you do it? Well, what might happen is you might meet someone at a social event. And when you meet someone at a social event, you'll exchange business cards. You'll agree that you should have a conversation. A lot of times when you have those kinds of meetings, particularly in a social setting, it feels good. The night is beautiful, and people agree that they will meet. People will agree to talk later. And a lot of times that won't happen. Sometimes, particularly that won't happen if you are in a sales or marketing role and you're talking with someone who is perceived in some way at a higher level. Maybe they have access to budgets or responsibility in an organization. They're used to being approached by sales and marketing people. So they might be inclined to put off meeting with you because they know that you're trying to fashion a deal. They have a lot of people that are trying to do that. They have organizations they're already dealing with, and they decide that, okay, I will talk with this person, but not now. So it might take some time for you to break through, to have a meeting. But when you do have that meeting, that's where the meat happens. That's where you are able to sit down and really understand their organization, and they can understand yours. You can understand their needs, and they can understand your offerings. You can get a sense of their organization. You might be in their offices and they can give you a tour. Or you might be somewhere where you can showcase your products, your services, your capabilities, your relationships. So that meeting is where the meet actually happens, and you need to use that meeting effectively. At that meeting, you need to take notes. You need to ask a lot of questions. You need to ask, what are their goals? What are they looking to accomplish? What kind of organizations have they dealt with in the past? What kind of results have they gotten in the past? What kind of process do they go through when they make decisions? What kind of budgets do they work with? If you were to look at a scope of the kind of commitment they might make in your area, what is it? How long does it take for them to make decisions? Is the person you're talking with someone that is going to be responsible for the decision, or do they participate with others? Is there someone else who is really the main driver? And you need to just get an understanding, and you certainly need to present, after you ask those questions, something that makes the person want to speak with you again, something that emphasizes that we're a great organization to deal with. We've had success in this area. We're committed to this area. We're capable in this area. We have a great offering. We are innovative. We're thinking about new things and so forth. This meeting is very important because this is the real meeting where you are really gaining an understanding of what you could potentially do together, whether it's a straight sale or whether it's a joint venture, whether it's an alliance, whether it's something that might be of strategic benefit in the short term and maybe financial longer down the road. So it's important that you really solidify at this moment something that is going to feel good. Now, you're not going to get a deal done. You're not going to typically close a sale at this moment. I mean, in some cases, you might meet with someone who's really eager to get something done in a particular area, and they say, okay, I'm ready to go. And certainly you should pursue that if that is an opportunity that surfaces. But the first meeting is really about understanding needs and capabilities. understanding needs and capabilities. Now, this is where the next step is where you want to summarize what you understand. Summarize your perception of the opportunity. Summarize some thoughts, some suggestions, some recommendations, some ideas. And I like to do that fairly quickly after a meeting. I like to send an email and say, here's what I see. Bullet points. I see this, I see this, I see that. Here's the opportunity I think we have together. Here's some recommendations I have. Now, based on that email, based on that document, that is when you will get a sense of how creative the person you're dealing with is and how open that person is. If a person doesn't respond at all, the person is either very busy, very committed to other things, and just hasn't gotten around to it. They've got other things on their plate, pressing priorities, or they're dismissive of what you've said, or what you said doesn't resonate with them, or they didn't even look at it. So it could be any number of things, but that is your jumping off point from which to discuss things in detail. What I've found often is two things will happen. One is the person will get something and they don't read it. And the second is they read it and they don't understand it, or it doesn't excite them. And so then the follow-up becomes discussing what you've put down on paper, on virtual paper, so to speak. And sometimes that can be difficult to break through and to have that conversation, because there might be a judgment already that I don't think this works for me. I don't think this is an organization we can do something with. I don't think this is a fit. So business development is a process of working the conversations and working the relationship. Once you are able to get into a meaningful discussion with someone about what's going on, that's when you can get into some detail about, okay, if we were to do this, how would we approach this? And this is where we get into something called deal points. And deal points are essentially, what are the elements of the deal? How would we do this? Well, maybe the first year we would do this with you. Maybe the first year you'll open an account with us, and when you open that account, we'll offer this, and we'll see how things go, and then we'll do this at the next level. So you're essentially shaping what your strategy is in terms of working together. In some cases, that turns into a formal deal. A formal deal where you lay that out, and it's a joint venture and it's a strategic deal or something like that. In other cases, it's an account relationship. It's a buyer-seller relationship. It's someone making a purchase, and you're just agreeing that, okay, here's the way we're going to approach this in the near term. What I'm saying to you is that business development is not a fixed idea. It is it is a fixed idea in the sense that you're building the business, but how you do it depends on the circumstance, and you have to have in your arsenal a number of techniques and strategies and tools and experiences in order to do this effectively. For many years I've taught this whole idea of deal making to entrepreneurs and I've got that somewhere. Got this deal making, dropped something back there. Got this deal making guide that is part of my seminar process. Lots of interesting things in here, but we talk about contacts and multiplying strategy and how to build it, having the right targets and so forth, this big deal process. But I'm sharing some of that with you because I want you to become more effective at business development and think of what you're doing strategically and go about it in a creative way. Go about it in a way that is aimed at getting the best results you can for your organization. There's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of opportunity. But to be a great business development person and a great deal maker and a great marketer, you've got to be out there. You've got to knock on doors. You've got to be creative. You've got to use your freedom, and you've got to look for opportunities to build that business. If you like this tip, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. I've enjoyed sharing this with you. Share it with someone that you think will benefit by hearing this. And there's more to come. I will see you next time.